Hi everybody, it's Alicia with Expressions by Lish. Hi Peggy. Hi Lori. How are you guys? I'm a couple minutes late today, or a minute late. Woo! How's everybody? I'm good. As you can see behind me, let's see, go this way. I still have a little bit stuff left to put away from my BOGO sale. I got most of it done, but just a little bit more. Still kind of adjusting lights and stuff yet. All right. It is Thursday, August 20th, 2026, and it simply leaves class to go. I'm really sorry about that mess. I can see it behind me, and I didn't even realize because I was working on it all last night, putting stuff away, and obviously I forgot the stuff in my recliner chair. So anyway, I'm sorry. All right, so we are using the Simply Leaves punch bundle today. It is, I think I put the punch away. Oh no, here it is. Okay, I'm still kind of getting my stuff together here. All right, let me grab everything. All right. So how are you guys? Are you guys good? Lori said she's good. Okay. Phew. I was working on swap cards and kind of got involved in it and went, oh, it's like 3 minutes to 2. What am I doing? All right, you guys, I am going to switch my cameras and let's start talking about Simply Leaves Class to Go. Okay, so this is a punch bundle. It is a photopolymer stamp set with the coordinating punch. I don't know if you guys had to refresh my YouTube froze. I'm back. Okay, Peggy. Well, hopefully everything's working okay. Yeah, this is a leaf punch that coordinates with the Simply Leaves. I don't know how much you have seen about this bundle from Stampin' Up, but so many people are doing other things with this, one being a fish, like this, Christmas light bulb, acorn, there was something else, I can't remember. Yeah, looks like it is good. Okay, good deal, Peggy. So yeah, I love a punch bundle. Now don't get me wrong, I love dies. I absolutely love dies. But I'm always loved a punch bundle. It gives you a chance to make cards fast because you can just punch, and it still gives it that step up, that like extra look. Okay, so this is what we'll be using today. These are the cards that we are going to be making. This is the card number 1. This is the second card. This is the third. And like I said before, people have been doing other things. This isn't with the punch, but it is with one of the leaves. Super cute sunflower. This I cased from Michelle, and I'll never say her name right, I'm sure, Litwiller. She is from the Owl Stampers. Wonderful demonstrator. I really love her style. And then this card is cased from Dawn Olszewski. She is from Do Stamping with Dawn, which I think is an awesome, because she's Dawn Olszewski and she's Do Stamping with Dawn, and her kind of slogan, not slogan, but whatever is, how did you do that? Do. I just think it's cute. So I learned this technique from her website. It is a faux tearing technique, so you don't tear any paper you're using, you use a mask. And so yeah, these are the cards. Yes, I know. Oh good, I did say it right. I love this sunflower so much because I love this gingham leaf that's in the stamp set. So cute. Okay, so let's get started. I'm gonna put these out of the way. Okay, and we're gonna start with this one. Okay, so this starts with a basic beige card base. And I forgot to cut the DSP, so we'll do that together. You'll receive a piece of basic white for the inside of your card, a piece of basic white to stamp on, a piece of basic beige for your mat. You'll receive a piece of pretty peacock that will be embossed with the three season cheer embossing folders. You get 3 in a pack. They're the mini embossing folders. So you get one with leaves, one with candy canes, and one is for Halloween, and it has little bats and stars. Yes. I love these embossing folders. I've used them so much already. The only one I haven't used yet is the candy cane. I know, I cannot believe. Yeah, it's raining here too in St. Paul. Okay, so you'll receive that. Then you'll also receive 2 pieces of Cajun Craze that will be cut for you. And you'll receive a piece of basic beige. For your sentiment label. And I didn't cut that one either. Boy, I'm really doing well today, you guys. Really doing well. Okay, so I guess we'll cut together. And now the DSP for this card is from the Valley in Blooms DSP. It's obviously the B-side. So this is the DSP right here. And yes, Valley in Bloom, and this paper is so awesome. Not only is the front beautiful, but the B-sides are, I love this. And then this is the one we used right here. I love a plaid, I love a gingham, anything like that, I'm all sold. And now this is 5 1/4 by 4, so we're going to cut that. But you will have this in your kit, it will be cut for you. Okay, so when I'm cut into DSP, new sheet, I always cut, especially if it's non-directional, I always cut the 4-inch first because you get more out of your paper that way. So I will go 4 by 5 1/4, just like that. And I might as well cut the other one because I'll put it with the other kit. Okay. And we have that. And as long as I have my cutter out, let's cut some basic beige for our sentiment. And we are going to go at 1/2. Like so. And then I'll just trim it. When I'm ready, you will have a full, the right size in your card kit to go. All right. First thing I'm going to do is I am going to fold and burnish my card base. I have been using basic beige so much more than I ever have before. I don't know, it just goes so well with so many of the new DSPs that are out. And look at how beautiful the other side of this is. Isn't that beautiful? Okay. And, when it first came out, I didn't really like it because it has such a green, the ink has such a green tone to it. But there's a purpose for that because with the DSP, look at the greens in this DSP. Just kind of makes sense, right? Okay. Sometimes you just have to trust in the experts, right? Okay, so we have I put seal on our DSP. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to move this out of the way. I'm going to move this over. I'm going to grab this. So what is everybody up to today? And then we are going to stamp in Cajun Craze. I'm going to grab Pretty Peacock because our sentiment is going to be Pretty Peacock and our leaves are going to be in Cajun Craze. And I just am loving these colors together. The Pretty Peacock with the fall colors, so pretty. So for this one we need 2 stamps and we are going to use the smaller leaves. And mine are already pretty used because I have really been using this. And fall colors, Cajun Craze. So we have the gingham and then we have this cute little stamp right here and it has like a dotted line in it. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to stamp my gingham leaf. This is probably, I just love this stamp so much. Okay, and we're just going to get it good and inked up. And then I'm going to stamp it towards the center but at an angle because we're going to make a cluster of leaves. So there's our gingham stamp, and I think I probably need to re-ink my Cajun Craze up. And then we're going to overlap it just slightly. And then we're going to do the same thing, excuse me, down this way. Okay, so we have that. If this little bit overlapping, if that's something you don't care for, you can mask these out. But I just kind of, I didn't think it really warranted it. Okay, so we're going to close this up. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my piece of basic beige because we might as well just keep stamping since we have the inks out. And this font in this set is absolutely awesome. I love the font so much. I'm doing Thanks and Pretty Peacock. And we're just going to stamp that. I'm leaving a little bit on the end because we are going to banner cut it. Okay. And this is a from the July online exclusive. So I normally would refer you to a catalog page, but it's online. But if you can see this font, I just love it. Like the word A has that nice swirl in it. And I love anything that has cursive and print with it. I love that, like thinking and then of you often. I just love, that's like a favorite of mine. I just love it. Yeah, the stamps are cute. Yes, they are. Okay, so I'm going to close up Pretty Peacock. I'm going to grab my scissors and I am going to banner cut the end. I'm going to trim just a little bit. I could have went over just a hair, but I'd rather cut a little bit off than, you know what I'm saying. Okay, so I just pick the word I feel is the center, and then I go from the corner up to where I just cut. I'm going to pull this out. Okay, and then I flip it over and I do the same thing. I go from corner up to the place I cut. Okay, now I'm going to trim this big hunk off. I should have probably made this a little bit longer. We might be redoing this because I want it to go over my leaves. Oh no, that, yeah, let's redo that. Okay, I'm going to measure this. All right, 2 1/4. So I'm going to go about a little over 2 1/4, not quite 2 1/2. Okay. I want a little bit longer of a banner. And I'm going to save this for a different card. Okay, I'm going to take our pretty peacock. Boy, I'm really starting out good. Yes, I know. Isn't the font awesome, Peggy? Ugh. Okay. Pretty peacock right in the center. No trimming of the ends. It's been a while since I've made these cards too. That kind of sometimes makes a difference. And then I'm going to just banner end like we did the last time. How deep you go, that's your preference. I don't like too much, too big of a, deep of a cut, but I think that looks good either way. It's just your preference. So I just kind of go up a little bit. And it's never perfect, but it's homemade. I don't know of anybody who receives a card and gets their ruler out. Okay, so there we have that. I'm going to grab some linen thread, but I'm just going to grab it out so I don't forget it. Okay, so I'm going to take this, I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to adhere this to my basic beige mat. Just like that. Hi Mom, how are you? Okay, and we're going to adhere that to our basic beige mat. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay these on here, because instead of doing wasting a bigger piece of Cajun Craze just to get that little pop in the corner, I'm just cut 1 by 2.5 pieces, and I'm just going to go like this so that I get an idea of how I want to place them. Okay, so it's going to look something like this, and then like this. So I know I have to move it down, and it goes like that. Okay, you just kind of center it, and then I'm going to pull this out, and I'm going to add some seal to the back, and then I'm just going to take this and I'm going to just tuck it under like that, because I just want a little peek of that to kind of break up the color and to bring in the color from the leaves. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing in the other corner, and I did it this size because then you have a little handle to hang on instead of just doing a teeny tiny corner too. Okay, and I'm going to just do the same thing, and I'm just putting this under just like that and like that. Now I haven't pushed down really hard yet in case I want to move them. Now I'm going to take my pretty peacock layer that has been embossed, and I'm going to add some dimensionals to it. Whoops, got the back but not the dimensional on that one. Okay, just like this. Okay, and then I'm going to place this over the top. Okay, now I'm going to take my focal image and I am going to put dimensionals, but only on the outside corners. So that way everything is level, so to speak. And then we're just going to go like this. And then I'm just going to press down. Okay, I'm going to put, this is going to go here, but I want, instead of going over this way with the faux bow, I wanted it to kind of go off to the side. So we are going to take our seal and we're just going to put some right here. And then we're going to cut a piece of linen thread and we're going to make our faux bow. Okay. Like that. So I'm just looping this to make the faux bow, except for, let's see, I want it to go like this, And I want it to go like this. It just depends on how you want the tails to lay down. Okay, and then I'm going to put this back over, and it's a little too long, so I'm just pulling, just like that. I'm going to pull a little bit this way, and then go like that, and yep, that's how I want it. So then I'm going to turn this over, and I'm just going to put, I'm not going to put dimensionals all the way on the end because of the linen thread. And then we're going to put that on there, just like that. And we're going to put that sentiment, make sure that we're even, the word thanks. And then I'm going to trim these ends off. And then we're going to use the array of dots, the pretty peacock from the array of dots embellishments. And we are going to add 3 of them. I just love the pretty peacock with the fall colors. I don't know about you guys, but I sure do. Well, hello, Anne. How are you? Okay, and then we're going to go 1 medium and 1 small. And there's card number 1. What do you guys think? I really like that. My Cajun Craze ink pad definitely needs to be re-inked. I've been using it a lot lately, so. Okay, card number 2. Okay. Is this beautiful card. I love this one too. I love fall. Like, I was talking to my mom the other day, and I'm getting ready to do a in a couple weeks, a few weeks, Radiant Sunflower class, and I sent her a couple of the, you know, pictures of the cards, and she's like, why do I love these so much? And I'm like, well, 1, it's fall colors, and 2, it's sunflowers. I mean, come on. Oh, good. I'm glad you're good, Anne. Yes, pretty peacock. I don't use it enough. Like, I used it today, and I shouldn't say this because it's in a swap card, Anne, but I used crisp cantaloupe and pretty peacock together. Oh my gosh, so beautiful. All right, it's card number 2. Let's keep going, Alicia. Don't just keep chatting. You'll receive a piece of Cajun Craze for your card base. You'll receive a piece of basic white for the inside of your card. You'll receive a piece of basic white to stamp and punch your leaves. You'll receive a piece of 2-tone cardstock embossed. It will be embossed for you with that same embossing folder, and we're going to do a little sanding, and you can see that it's already started from running it through the embossing machine. You'll also receive a piece of Cajun Craze for a mat that we will be stamping on and making our own background. And you'll receive a piece of basic white for your sentiment. Yeah, I really, well, and you'll probably like the card then because it does have pretty peacock. I will say that, but I'm not going to say what kind of card it is. All right, let's put this aside. First thing we're going to do is we're going to fold and burnish our card base. What's your guys' favorite fall color? Like, if I was doing Stampin' Up colors, I would say would be, like, I'm just going to list some and then you say what your favorite is. Cherry Cobbler, Cajun Craze, Crushed Curry, Mossy Metal, Old Olive, Pecan Pie, Pretty Peacock, Golden Glow, and what other, I think, and maybe like some pumpkin pie. Which one is your, oh, Lori, pumpkin pie. Yep, and pumpkin pie. Yeah, I like pumpkin pie too. Okay, so we fold and burnished our card base. Now this mat, now we're doing a very monochromatic card with just a little extra pop of color. But we are going to make a background on this, and we are going to use the stitched leaf vein. It's kind of hard to tell in the camera, and we are going to do color on color because that's my favorite. I love it. Okay, so we are just going to randomly make a pattern, and I'm just going to go on the outside edges and around the top because the middle is going to be covered up, and I'm just kind of going every other way with my stamp, just turning it, and I'm going to go this way, and I'm just going to go all the way around the card. Mossy Meadow, Cajun Craze, and Crushed Curry combo, but I like everything fall. Yeah, it's kind of hard not to, right? I just love it so, so much. So this is going to show my stupidity, Anne, but do you get fall colors in North Carolina? I'm just wondering. I don't know what type of trees are that way. Okay, then we're going to go here. And we're going to go one right there. Okay, so I'm using my glass mat as my scrap paper, as my stamping surface, and I do have ink, so I'm just going to grab a white, and I'm just going to quickly get that ink off. Just like that. That's why I love this glass mat. Easy peasy. Okay. I'm gonna close this up. I know I'm gonna use it again, but I make such a mess, you guys. Okay. Oh, they're not as brilliant as Michigan. Oh, okay. Well, at least you still get them. That's good. Yeah, Michigan has some pretty awesome fall colors as well. I've experienced them, you know, Mackinac Island and driving through that way. Some pretty ones too. Okay, so we're just going to put this on our card front with even margins all the way around. Okay, now I'm going to use, Stampin' Up! Came out with their own sanding block. This will be available in the September catalog that starts September 1st. You get 2 in a pack. It's like that. And it happens later. Oh, no, I didn't know that either. Okay, so here's our new sanding block. I have not used it yet because I just got this. So we are going to test it right here. So this is two-tone. I'm using the darker side. As you can see, look at it already from just the pressure from the embossing. And then this is the lighter side. And we're just going to take this and we're just going to, oh wow, this works good. Okay, I'm sold. Oh yeah, this is nice. Way better than the sanding block I have. I think I have like an emery board type thing. Okay, and I'm just running it over the raised part. I'm not going real hard, just kind of lightly. This is going to make the your focal image really stand out so it doesn't blend into the back, because you're bringing out the white core from the center of that two-tone cardstock. Now, if you wanted to, you could go on the edges and get some that way too. It's up to you. Okay, yeah, that worked really well. I really like that, and I'm glad it's black too. Okay. Oh, and we're going to add dimensionals to the back of this. I never, you know, when sanding was really popular with, well, and Stampin' Up, you know, just now has core paper. I mean, they've had other stuff in the past, but even before that, I never really got much into it. And now it's like, why didn't I? It's so beautiful. I don't know. It's just, you know, what's at that time, what you're into, I guess. Okay. And we are going to, I got dimensional sticking everywhere, the backings. We're going to put that right in the middle. Okay. Then I'm going to take my sentiment, and we're going to do that in Cajun Craze. And the sentiment is, I'm grateful for your kindness. I love this sentiment. Okay. And I'm going more to the left side because I'm going to cover up the right with the leaves. Okay. right, we got that, and that's gonna go right there. And when we put it on, we're gonna put it even with that mat, that Cajun Craze mat that we made our own background on. Okay, so now the reason why you're getting because we're doing 2 leaves, is because I want you to be able to have something to hold on to when you're putting it through your punch. It just makes everything go a lot smoother. Okay, so we're going to use this and this. Okay, and we are using again, cherry cobbler, and we're going to use Golden Glow. So the first one I'm going to stamp with is Golden Glow, and that is the one that just has like the regular vein, leaf vein in it. And we're going to ink that up. Now remember, this is a different type of stamp than the other stamps. It's a whole different surface, so you have to ink just a little bit differently. And then what I like to do is, I like, for memory purposes, I like to have my punch in front of me so I know which direction to stamp my image. Okay, so we're going to stamp with Golden Glow right here. Okay, and it's kind of model-y looking, so I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to do it one more time. And I probably didn't. Sometimes if you twist and turn it too, you can kind of get a better, but mine is also very juicy, and so therefore you are going to get some of that. But as it dries, it does go better. Like, I think that one looks better than this one. And it's a leaf. It should look imperfect, right? Right. Yeah, pumpkin pie. Yeah, I do too. Okay, now we're going to use cherry cobbler. And I chose cherry cobbler just so that it was a different than the Cajun Craze. If you don't care for cherry cobbler, you could do Cajun Craze and stamp off to get a lighter version of that. And you know what, you guys, I should punch this first. Let's punch this. Okay. So I'm just taking my leaf and I'm lining it up, and I'm just making sure that it's got a little bit of white around it. Oh, and look at me in my cherry cobbler already. I've got a mess. Jeez Louise. What is it with when you're using a dark color? I don't know if it's just me, but I get it everywhere. Like, I have it on the punch. Boy, oh boy. Okay, I'm going to flip it over because I've got a mess there. I'm going to re-ink this up. Oh my goodness. Yeah, me neither. Me neither. Me neither, Anne. I haven't either. Okay, and I'm going to punch the cherry cobbler. Ooh, look at that. That's beautiful. Okay, let's close this up because boy, oh boy, am I making a mess already. I think I got to grab that wipe I was using and wipe my hand off. Oh, I tell you. I'm gonna wipe my punch off too, because then every time I touch that punch in my video today, we're gonna get cherry cobbler all over everything. I'm just gonna quickly wipe some of the ink off of this cherry cobbler because that's really, yeah. All right, now let's punch this baby. So do you guys like punch bundles or die bundles? What's your preference? This is what I mean about an extra, like the handle, okay? So that you have something to hold on to when you're punching. Okay, we have that. All right, now, and I'm not sure why I closed that, but I did. Okay, so now I'm going to put some seal in the middle of my sentiment, but not on the ends because that's just going to hang over just a little. And I'm going probably an inch 3/4 from the bottom, and I'm lining up the sentiment with the mat, not the card base. Okay, and then I'm going to take my 2 leaves and I am going to curl them just a slight bit. Not a lot, just a little. Just to give it a little character. Okay, and now we are going to put these together like this. So I just hold them together and fan them how I think that will look good. I kind of hold them there to see, and then I can position again, just like that, because you don't want them to stick over the edge of your card. And then what I do is I hold them in my hand how I want them, and then I am going to put the dimensionals on there so that it holds together. I'm going to re-look again. Yep, that's how I want it. So I know I need another dimensional over here. Okay. Peggy likes both, but now that I have an electric die cutting machine, it's really nice. Yeah, I bet. Peggy has the awesome electric die cutting machine that when I was over at her house last, she showed it to me, and oh boy, that is nice. Very nice. Okay. So now we are going to take our linen thread, and I am going to take a large hunk here because I'm going to double it up. And we're just going to pick it like that. And you know that electric die cutting machine, I shouldn't be talking about other brand. I'm not going to say the brand, but it even is on a Lazy Susan so that you can turn it around. Yeah, swivel. Yeah, so cool. Okay, I'm just taking my ribbon and I'm cutting it in half so that I have 2 pieces, and I'm going to tie a double bow. And then I just mess with the ends by just pulling like that and like that. Okay, and then I'm going to grab a glue dot. And we're going to put, as Melissa would say, we're going to put a knot on the dot. And then we're going to put it right at the base of the stems. But make sure that it's low enough so it's not covering up your sentiment. Okay. Just kind of messing with that a little bit. And then we're going to trim our ends off. Like so. And I am going to fuss this all around just a little bit more. Okay, and then we are going to use the in color dots, and we're going to use the Golden Glow ones. I thought that looked really pretty contrast with the Golden Glow leaf. And we are going, there's 2 sizes for these. So we're going to put a big one up there. Then we're going to put a big one down here, and we'll take a little and put it right there. And there you have card number 2. What do you guys think of this one? I don't know if you guys can really see the, like with that stamped edge on there, the border, and then that with the white. I just really thought that turned out good too. Okay, so now we're on card number 3. Now card number 3 I fell in love with. It is called the faux tearing technique. Okay, Dawn Olszewski is who I saw her website. It wasn't a video. At first I thought, did I watch a video or did I just read it? I just read it. And I actually, I don't know if you guys follow her, but she's a Minnesota demonstrator. And I got to meet her in person at the beginning of the month at that event that I went to. Super, super nice lady. She's really funny. Yeah, super great. Okay, here it is. Okay, so for this card right here, you're going to get a, oh, thanks, Lori. Thanks, Anne. You like that standing too? Yeah, so do I. Okay, so we have a crumb cake card base. We have a piece of early espresso for a mat. You'll receive 2 pieces of basic white. You'll receive the larger one for the inside and just a hair smaller. Or are they the same? No, a hair smaller for the front, what we're going to stamp on, and a piece of Cajun Craze to punch and stamp your leaf. Okay, you're also going to need a piece of scrap paper or copy paper for this technique, and you're also going to need some type of tape, post-it note tape, masking tape, like masking paper, not masking tape, masking paper. Okay, and you're going to cut that scrap piece of paper, and you could use cardstock, whatever you have, 5.5 by 2 1/8. Then you're going to turn your paper, and you're going to start at the top, and you're going to tear down the long way. Okay, this does not need to be perfect. Now just don't pull it straight down. You want a little bit of interest there. So just, if you've ever done tearing with paper, you just kind of go back and forth. If you want smaller little valleys, you just go smaller. You want big ones, you go bigger. It's totally up to you. Okay, so you have your 2 pieces of paper. Okay, you're going to take this one and then you're going to flip one over. Okay, you're going to take your piece of basic white that you're stamping on, and you're going to put them the edge to the top edge. Okay, then you're going to take the bottom one and do the same thing, and you're going to line up that straight edge with the bottom straight edge, and that's how you do that. Okay, then I'm going to take some post-it tape, and I'm going to tape this right down to, and this masking paper is in the catalog or online. I'm not sure, Lori. It used to be in the catalog. Now I think it might be online, but it might be back in the catalog again. I would have to look. But it is just called masking paper. Okay, and then I'm just using post-it tape, and I'm just going right down to the surface. Now make sure that you don't get any of your tape on your cardstock, because you're going to get a funky line from blending. Ask me how I know that. Okay, and then we're going to put a piece down here. Now this obviously is sort of loose, the cardstock, but you can just hold on to it with your card. All right, let's take a peek, Lori, real quick and see if it's in here. Let's see, cutting and scoring, stamp tools, stamp positioner. Let's see. It would be on page 70 if it was in the catalog, and it is. It's on page 76, and it's Stampin' Up! Masking paper. And if you'd like, it's number 155480, but it is on page 76 of the May through August catalog. Okay, now I'm going to use pecan pie for my blending, and I'm going to grab my blending brush that I use, this one with light browns and whatever. And now normally when I do this, I just take a piece of scrap paper, lay it down, but because you have so much paper here, I'm going to use this as my starting point, so I don't really need my scrap paper, and I'm using my glass mat, and that cleans off really nice, so we'll save a tree, right? Oh, you're welcome, Lori. Okay, and then you tap off a little bit. I'm just using my my post-it note tape and my copy paper to do that. Okay, and I usually start in a corner. Now I'm pulling this down so my paper does not move. And I start out darker, like heavier, because I want that top to be darker. And then when I'm going in the middle, I'm going to go a little bit lighter. So I'm just kind of a lighter touch. And I do want to leave a little bit of white space for my sentiment. It doesn't have to be completely white, but you know, just a little bit lighter so that, you know, your sentiment pops. And I'm doing the same thing, and I'm just making sure that I hold my cardstock down so that it doesn't shift too much. And if it does shift a little bit, that's okay. Okay, and then we're doing the same thing down here. Okay, and I just try to go a little bit darker, like I said, on the edges. Okay, I'm left-handed, you guys, so bear with me. Okay. And the harder you press down on your blending brush, you'll get more ink. So if you want to go lighter, just don't press down, and you want to, you know, push your finger down on that. You don't have to push hard then. You're just using the weight of your finger. That makes sense. Okay, so see how that's a little bit lighter right there? That is where our sentiment is going to go. Now I'm going to leave this on here while I'm stamping my leaves. Oh, let's leave this here because we're going to stamp in Pecan Pie. We're going to stamp the dotted leaf in Crumb Cake. Okay. And we're going to stamp in Cajun Craze with the gingham. And 3 colors. Okay, so I have the dotted that I have to clean off. I have my gingham, but that's okay because we're using Cajun Craze. And then I have my dotted right here, and then we're going to use this other one here, which I believe I cleaned off, but I'm going to double clean it just because it had cherry cobbler on it. Okay. So what do you guys think? Do you guys do much masking? So this is kind of like masking and a different technique. So if you haven't masked before, this is another masking, you know, because we're masking where we're going to stamp. Okay. And just as long as I've got my thing out here, sorry for the squeak, 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 but I might as well clean these off, right? Otherwise, I'm going to forget for later. And in case we need another stamp, then they're clean and ready to roll. All right, so the first one I'm going to start with is this super cute dotted leaf. I love this leaf so much. Okay, and then we're going to stamp in Crumb Cake. And then we are going to stamp. This is the copy paper. This is the tape. And then I'm going to just go off. Now, because this is a clear stamp, you can see as the ink, so that if there's a spot that didn't exactly, you can see that, and then you just press on that part. Okay, so we have that one. I'm going to set that aside. Then we're going to take that leaf with the bigger indent vein, and we're going to go down in this corner down here. Like that. Whoops, I moved. Okay. Then we're going to take the gingham in the Cajun Craze. And that one's going to go about right here. Okay, then we're going to take it again and go down this way, and I'm going to overlap with that dotted one just a tad. Okay, then we're going to take our Pecan Pie with the dotted vein leaf. It's my other favorite. And then we are going to put this back because, like I said, it shifted a little bit. Okay, and we're going to go right here. And again, I'm going to ink that up, and then, oh, see. Guys, I'm revealing my magic early. pecan pie, and we're gonna kind of turn it like this and go in this corner here. Okay. Now we can take this off, and there you have, right like that. Isn't that pretty? I just love that so much. I love that. And then this is the faux tear. Yeah, I think that's really pretty. Okay, now we can stamp our sentiment, and the sentiment is a little something to say hello, and we're going to use early espresso for that. I'm going to ink this up in early espresso. Well, thanks, Lori. I knew you guys would like this, and you do too. Yeah, it's simple, but it's not. Like, I just like sometimes when you just can stamp right on the paper. Okay, so now we're going to put our sentiment in that space where we left it lighter or with more white. Okay, and there we have a little something to say hello. And then I'm going to close up these other inks because all we need now is early espresso to stamp our vein on our leaf. You could stamp that in any, if you wanted to stamp it in Cajun Craze, you could stamp it. You could do it in like a gold or a metallic embossing. Okay, so now I need to find my vein of my leaf. Okay. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to, First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to punch my leaf, and then I'm going to stamp on it, because this is just the vein. So we're just punching a leaf. Okay, and then I'm going to ink up the vein. And I'm just going to, you don't go all the way down, just where the bottom of the leaf curves right before the stem. You could even do this and then stamp off for a lighter shade if you'd like. Okay, I'm going to clean this up. Then I'm going to clean off my tabletop, because remember I was using my glass mat as my scrap paper. Glass mat, for me, it was one of those things I didn't know that I needed. I'd never had one before. I know a lot of companies sell them, and when Stampin' Up came out with theirs, I was like, okay, let's try it. I don't think I'll ever use it, but you know, what the heck. Well, I don't know what I did without it, to be honest. Oh my gosh, so glass mat is so nice. Not only just if you're messy like I am, but it's like a nice surface to stamp on, to color on. It's really nice to blend on. Super nice. Okay, so I'm just gonna make sure this is dry. Then I'm gonna take my card base, and I am going to fold and burnish my card base. Give it another little. Then we're going to take my early espresso mat and the piece we just made. And now this technique, I mean, it just depends on how you tear your paper. You can go wider, you can go skinnier. You know, you could go diagonally. I think diagonally would be really cool. There's just so many different ways that you could do this technique. So cool. Okay, so now we're just going to put this on our early espresso mat with even margins all the way around. Then I'm going to flip it over, and we're going to add more seal. Okay, and we're going to put this on our crumb cake card base. Just like that. And two, I think it's pretty just like that. If you just added a couple little embellishments, you could be done. Now I'm going to take and I'm going to curl this one a little bit more. Okay, and I want that to go down towards the bottom. I'm going to take one dimensional. I don't know why I keep putting my dimensionals away. Probably because I'm out. And I don't feel like cutting it right now. but maybe I will. I'll just cut. Yeah, I'll just cut them. Okay, I'm just going to take one dimensional, so I'll just kind of cut a bigger one. I'm going to put that in the center because I curved it. So you don't want to put dimensionals all the way around it. We're going to go upside down with this one, and I'm just going to kind of line that up with the word say. Maybe just a hair more turned. Okay. Like that. Okay, and then I'm going to take a piece of linen thread and I'm going to tie a bow. This linen thread is so nice to make bows. Ugh. If Stampin' Up! Ever retires this, I'm going to be so bummed. Okay. Now we're going to take that. And we're going to grab a glue dot. And we are going to put a knot on the dot. And that is going to go right here at the little stem. And then we're going to trim our tails. And then now I used metallic gems on this one. And I used the bronze color, and I'm almost out of these. I just ordered, because like I used all the bronze ones on here a long time ago. And then I have these, and we're going to use these, but I did order another pack because I was like, oh gosh, I'm running out. Okay, so we're going to put one here and one there. And we're going to take another little one and go right here. And that is the faux tearing technique. What do you guys think? You wouldn't cry if the linen thread was gone? Oh, I would cry. I absolutely love that linen thread so, so much. Okay. So do you guys think you'll try this technique? I just really, you can see this is my first try, and I moved the paper so it looks kind of like it's blurry. But yeah, it's really cool. I'm so glad I saw her do that. Okay, last but not least, I love this card. Thank you, Michelle Litwiller. Is our, excuse me, I'm falling off my chair. The sunflower made out of leaves. And this is going to take a little bit of time because, well, I shouldn't say it's going to take a lot of time because we're just stamping and fussy cutting. But in your kit, you're going to receive a crumb cake card base that will be cut and scored for you, a piece of Golden Glow that will be embossed with the plaid, the 3D plaid embossing folder. You'll receive a piece of basic white for the inside. You'll receive a piece of early espresso for your mat, for your focal image, a piece of basic white for the mat for the early espresso, and that's that. So, yeah. All right. First things first is we are going to fold and burnish our card base. And we're going to take our piece of early espresso and add seal. It is embossed, so I'm going to use a lighter hand than what I normally do, just because we don't want to tear our cardstock. And I'm just going to go one down the center, just because. I just want to make sure, because it's embossed, that it doesn't ripple up. And then I'm just going to lay that on the card front with even margins all the way around, and I am going to press that down. Okay. Now we're going to take our piece of basic white, and I used Peaceful Pine for this one because I wanted it more like a flower than a fall leaf, but you could do Old Olive with this. I think would be gorgeous. Okay, maybe I should do my Golden Glow first. I think I'm going to do my Golden Glow first because I want to stamp after I have my flower together. Thanks, Lori. You'd try it too? Good. Okay, so now we have our golden glow. I'm going to wash up, clean up my gingham leaf, because we don't want to mix our Cajun craze and our golden glow together. Well, we could. It might be kind of cool actually, but I think we'll just stick with that. Oh, you'll also receive a piece. I didn't think I pulled it out. The middle of the flower will be cut for you, and this uses the smallest circle from the Stylish Shapes. That's your center for your flower. I forgot about that part. Okay, first things first, you need 5 leaves, and you just stamp them down because you are going to be fussy cutting these out. So we got 3, we got 4, we got 5, and I'm going to stamp one more because I don't like how that first one looks. I pushed too hard on that one, and you can tell I had not the exact right pressure on that. So these new stamp sets, I mean, it's just like when you first start stamping, you have to practice with it and get used to it, just like I had to get used to these. It's just like anything, you have to use it and practice and see what works best for you. Okay, so I'm going to grab my paper. This is the one that I used for cut my paper, and we are just going to fussy cut. I am leaving a little bit of white around the edge, not a lot, but you know, just enough to give it that little shadow, just like that. And I should have done these ahead, but I also wanted you to see how to do it. But I think you guys all know how to fussy cut. But okay, and you're moving the paper, not the scissors. Okay, there's number 1. And I'm not really worried of what the bottom's going to look like because we're covering that up with the center of the sunflower. Yeah, when I saw this card, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to do this. A lot of people have been making other things with this. One of the Stampin' Up artisan designers had a post on the Stampin' Up Facebook page yesterday, and she had all different things. It was so cool. She had Christmas light bulbs, and she had, like I said, what, an acorn, fish, so many cute things. Always amazes me like what other people see when they see something. And I know my mom and I just talked about that because when we worked, well, this was before I worked there, but we managed a thrift store for the Catholic Diocese in St. Cloud. It was called the Mission Shop, and it was for foreign missions. But anyway, there was this lady that worked with Mom, and her name was Bernie. And like when we saw a blouse, we saw the blouse. When Bernie saw the blouse, she saw something to make with the buttons, she saw something to make with the collar, she saw, you know, it's always, I love to see how creative and how people's, like when they look at something, what they see. You know, I just saw a blouse that needed to be thrown out because it wasn't any good, but she saw the buttons for something, you know, the collar, maybe it had a little bit of a lacy collar on it, or a pocket for something, you know, just, it always amazes me. Okay, there's number 3. And I'm just going to cut around this quick just to better holding purposes. See, that really doesn't take that long. And this is pretty easy fussy cutting. It's not terrible. I mean, fussy cutting isn't my favorite thing to do, but I don't hate it. I mean, if I'm making like 100 swap cards, I'm not going to choose fussy cutting for my swap card. Or like if I'm making my Christmas cards and I'm making all the same Christmas card, I'm definitely not fussy cutting for that. Okay, last but not least. No, there's only a punch for the big leaf. So there's 3 big leaves in the stamp set. There's the dotty, then there's like a regular vein, and then there's like that kind of tropical looking like vein. Those can be punched, and then there's 2 smaller leaves. That's the gingham one and that dotty one that's like got the dotty vein. And then there's, so those don't have a punch, but then there are 2 other stamps that have just veins. And you can do a cardstock punch and then stamp the vein on it. Okay, so now we have our little gingham. Okay, so now for this, you just take your leaves and make a flower. And I just start putting them in my hand first. You just put the stems underneath, and then I just kind of go like this until it's how I want. Like I know I want this one underneath. So it's kind of like holding a deck of cards. So I want this one underneath and these on the top. Okay. Then the bottom, this one's over the top of this one. Okay. And then this one is over the top of these 2. Okay. So like I said, just hold it and see we have our flower. Okay. I'm going to flip this over. Whoops. Without doing that. Okay, I'm going to take one of my dimensionals, and I'm cutting these because I ran out. And we're going to cut one, and we're going to stick that on here just to kind of hold them. It's not going to like hold them all, but this way I can still play with it a little bit. Okay. And we don't have to worry what the center looks like because we're going to cover that up. Okay. All right. That one had to fall off, didn't it? Oh, I didn't have enough of the dimensional there. But let's see. I guess what I should have done is I shouldn't have laid it down, but that's how I did it the last time. Okay, I just peeled the backing off of my dimensional because you just want to make sure that you're holding these together. Okay. There we go. That looks like a flower to me. Okay, now, see, this is why I wanted ones I didn't have to cut. I'm just going to have to use a black one, which is okay. Okay, so where we have that. Okay, and this will hold everything hopefully together for the most part, and then we can still move around. That's what's nice about this. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect right off the get-go. And then you can decide, do you like it this way better? Yeah, I think that looks better. What do you think? I think it looks pretty good. Let's see, I remember how you loved to cut out the clothes for your paper dolls. You really didn't care to play with them. You just really liked cutting the clothes out. That was definitely fussy cutting. Well, no wonder why, Mom. And I know, I wish they'd put 2 leaves in the punch. I know, me too, Anne, me too. Yes. Okay, so now I have my flower. Maybe that's why I like crafting with paper so much, Mom. Okay, so we're going to set that there. Now I am going to take my smaller leaf, and that's the one that has the little dotty veins. I'm going to wash this off again, you guys, because I don't think I did a very good job. Or maybe I didn't clean it. Okay. Yeah, another punch would have been nice. They could have done a builder like did the larger one on the top and the smaller one on the bottom. That would have been nice. Okay, now we're going to use Peaceful Pine. I'm just going to tap on that. Okay. Now, I know that this is where I want my flower, and I want my leaf to go sort of like that. Okay, and then I'm going to place this back over here. It's not glued down. I'm going to re-ink this up. Okay, and then I want the leaf to kind of go like this. Probably shouldn't have been stamping on top of this, but it worked. Alright, so now we are going to, and then this way you still can move these around because remember I didn't use a lot of adhesive to keep that down. Okay, so now I'm going to flip this over and I am going to put some more dimensionals on here. You can mix the colors, that's okay, nobody is going to see that. I'm going to put another one on the center. Now these are getting good and stuck together because now you have to commit. Okay. I always think of, Mom, when you say that about like the paper dolls, I remember the fashion plates. I mean, this dates me, you guys. But, oh, you could put the paper in and then you put the plates in there for Barbie. And then you could change out her skirt and the texture and then you'd rub that whatever over it. And then you color them with colored pencils. I'd still play with that today. Okay, so now we have our flower. Now I'm going to do the sentiment, Thinking of You Often, and I'm going to do that in Early Espresso. You remember those two fashion plates? Yeah. Loved my Barbie fashion plates. Well, I love everything Barbie, I still do. If I had my fashion plates, I probably would pull it out and play with it. Okay, so Thinking of You Often. We're going to stamp that up in Early Espresso. And I'm just going towards the bottom right. Okay. And all that's left now is to add some seal to this and then put it on our Early Espresso. I'm going to flip that over. I'm just going to add some seal. Okay. Put that right in even margins, top, bottom, and sides. Okay, and then I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to put dimensionals. Did I put dimensionals? Yeah, I did dimensionals. And we're just going to go like that. You never had one, but you remember them. I loved fashion plates. They still make it, by the way. It's just a more up-to-date design, but it's the same idea. Okay. And now we are going to put this in the center. Okay, now this is totally up to you, but I took my Peaceful Pine glitter brush and I just added a little bit in the centers in between those dotty lines. I didn't do a lot because I just wanted a little accent. And that gives it that more of that leafy vein look, that darker center in the leaf. And I'm just adding just a little bit, just to give it a little glitz. And then I took my Wink of Stella and I colored the center. Lori, I still have my Barbie clothes, but I think my Barbie went to my niece. Well, I have my Barbies. They're packed away. I have like the furniture I had that, you know, back in the 70s. It was that blow up furniture and it was like green and yellow and orange or something, like flowers. I still have that, and they still hold air. And I have a couple other things. Oh, and the Barbie doll clothes that my mom crocheted for me, I still have those. Okay, all that's left is our embellishments, and we are going to use the Golden Glow, the In Color dots. Okay. And we are going to use 3 as normal. And we're going to put one right here and one right there. And we're going to take another big one and go like right about here. And there's card number 4. What do you guys think? So do you think it looks like a flower? I think it looks pretty cool. And you could just bend these up a little bit. But it's pretty easy. Like, you just hold them in your card, like in your hand, like a deck of cards, and put a little bit of a dimensional on the back, and then just play with it and then set it down. Yes, I am still waiting for the Barbie Dream House, but you know what? I wouldn't want the current Barbie Dream House. I still think I'd want the one from when I was a kid. Okay, so let's bring these all out. Here are the cards that we made today, you guys. I think these are super cute. You could definitely use this bundle. Does not have, just because it's leaves does not mean it has to be fall. You could use these all year round. Look at, we made a flower. You could change the colors up. These would make, they just make great cards. So pretty. If you just wanted to make a masculine birthday card, I mean, this one doesn't have a birthday sentiment, but you just grab a birthday sentiment and make some leaves, put it together with some darker colors. Even some blues would be really pretty. And you would have a masculine card. You absolutely love the flower. Each card is wonderful. Thanks, Lori. The sunflower one's your favorite, Peggy? Oh, okay. Good deal. Okay, so when you place an order for $50 or more in my online store, you will receive these card kits to go for free as a thank you gift from me. So everything that you saw me pull out of an envelope today, that is what will be in your kit. You will also receive the embellishments and the pieces of linen thread in your envelope, because each one is packed in there, an envelope in a bag. So all right, you guys, well, thanks for joining. I'm so glad that you were able to join me today. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out. You can find me at Expressions by Lish, lish.com. My name is Alicia Markfort, and if you have any questions, you can get me on Facebook. You can go to my website. My website tells you every way that you can get a hold of me. Oh, you're welcome, Anne. And yeah, well, again, thank you so much for joining. We'll talk to you guys real soon, okay? Bye.